Hey, my name is Steve and I'm the main man behind SteveGamesStudios. In today's video, I'm going to show you the actual game that I will make and release this year. I hope you are excited. I have prepared a little presentation for that we're gonna switch to in a moment. But before we do that, please subscribe to the channel, like the video and share it to your friends because this is very special for me. And I would say let's get right straight into it. So after this quick intro, welcome to this video again. Welcome to the presentation of my first game that I'm actually gonna release this year. I'm very excited and I would say let's not waste any time, let's get straight into it. So here's just a quick table of the content that is covered into the presentation. Here we have a market analysis, for example, a financial plan, but also the core game, the release plan. Those are obviously the most important parts. So yeah, just a quick overview of everything that is in this presentation. So coming then to the first aspect of the presentation, and that is the overview. On the left side you see the keynotes, on the right side you see the short description. On the left side, let's just get quickly over it. The name of the game will be Forms, and it's gonna be an endless runner in 3D with actually a single player mode, no multiplayer mode, maybe in the future, but right now let's just focus on the single player mode. The release date that was really important for me is gonna be the 15th of December 2024. So yeah, there you have a little finish line where you can actually wait for it, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna release it there. That's very important for me. The game's gonna be made with Unity and released on itch.io with actually a download needed. The pricing gonna be $4.99. It's a very important part that I'm gonna discuss later, and you also will have the possibility to watch ads for rewards, so for the in-game currency, but otherwise there will be no ads. And of course, the last point, very important for me, SteveGamesStudios stands for games with fun and with no pay to win, and so obviously this game has also no pay to win. Very important part for me. Coming then to the short description, when you talk about Forms, you have a 3D endless runner, of course, where the character dynamic changes. And the reason why I underlined it here is because this is really the USP, the most important part of the game, the thing that makes the game special, that you actually, when you play the game, when you play the endless runner, there can always be a moment where the character changes, where you need to adjust to the situation and you have no influence on what character you play next, and that brings a lot of fun, a lot of random factor also, but I think it makes the games engaging. And so yeah, that's the really special thing about the game. And of course you also have obstacles. The game will speed up with time. That's normal for the genre, so that is also gonna be in Forms. And then we have the market analysis. It's a very short one, but I still wanted to include it because it's in every game presentation. So yeah, it's a base thing that every presentation has. So yeah, coming here to the market share of the genre, we see here that the endless runners have 4% of the whole market share when you talk about gaming. Obviously other genres like Battle Royale have bigger market share, but I think 4% is still pretty great. And then when we talk about other popular endless runners in general, then of course you would think about Subway Surfers, Temple Run, or in this case Temple Run 2. Those are mainly on mobile, but obviously endless runners can also work on PC. So when you talk about games on itch.io, you talk about games like Manadesh, La Santa, and so on. By the way, all the games on itch.io are in the description link because I think it's very important that indies support each other. So yeah, that's also something that I wanted to include here. Just some examples of popular endless runners. Coming into the core game, there I have prepared something else. So when we look here at a little whiteboard that I created, we have obviously different aspects of the game. The first part I want to talk about are the characters. So we have different characters. We have the ball, we have the one corn, the two corn, the triangle and the square. Those are all different characters. The one thing that connects them are the corns. So it's really a geometrical thing. And so yeah, those are the characters. They will also have special abilities, but here really important call. I'm probably gonna talk about this a little bit more in the presentation, but SteveGamesStudios stands for games made with the community for the community. So that is something that I wanted to mention here. I'm gonna create special abilities for every character, and that is also very important just in a second why I'm gonna create those. But I want to include your feedback. So if you have any ideas, any things that I should add for the game, then just comment, just tweet. You can also message me private on Instagram, on Threads. All the links are also in the description. That's a very important part that I wanted to include in here. So yeah, the game never gonna be finished. Games are rarely finished, and so yeah, I always want to include you in the talk. And so yeah, that is a very important part here. But coming then again to the game, some ideas that I have presented here. So the core game loop, obviously it's the heart of every game presentation. So the core game loop has 3 aspects. aspects. The first aspect is obviously the endless runner aspect, so the player has to dodge obstacles, collect coins, stuff like that. And then the second aspect, and that is the thing that comes new into the game, is the aspect where the player hits a random block and then changes the character. And so that is, you know, the USP of the game that comes in here. And then the third part is the part where the player fights a villain with special abilities. And that is a part that I also wanted to mention here, because it's right now, it's, you know, it's an idea. I want to make it, but obviously in a game development process, you also have to think about how much time you have. In the perfect version, I would say there are also villains that you then need to fight while, you know, dodging obstacles with your special abilities. But basically, you know, that can also be a different mode. So yeah, that is the core game loop there. The player has to dodge obstacles and then the player hits a random block. That is the really main aspect of the game. So coming then to the level ideas, was probably the biggest challenge of this presentation, but I think I did it quite well. Keep in mind, those are obviously also, you know, just ideas. I'm gonna implement it like that, but if you have any feedback, any critique, just, you know, hit the comment button and I'm sure I'm gonna also implement it in the game. But yeah, coming here to the first character, we have here the ball character. It's a very basic drawing, but yeah, I hope I can explain it well. We have here a basic ball. Your aim is obviously to collect some coins, and you have basic obstacles, a basic track with also some loopings. So yeah, that is gonna be the first level, very basic, but I think you also need some of those in the game. You know, we don't want to make it too challenging. And so then we have also the one corn object. For that I talked about, you know, jumping from ropes. So I just, you know, included here in picture so you know what I'm talking about. We're also gonna have here a jungle theme, and this is here a level where you have the one corn and you need to take it from this lion to the next one. You need to, you know, jump with this, and you have also sometimes a lion that is like a fake lion. So if you jump through this, it can, you know, can just go away and then you will jump down, but then you also have some lions. So yeah, that is the basic idea of the game, that you need to jump from object to object. And so yeah, also in an endless runner style like every game here. Then coming to the next level, so then we have here the two cone object, where I thought, you know, about making it into the water theme. And it's again a very basic approach of, you know, an endless runner. So you have just here this boat object, and yeah, exactly, you can swim, you need to avoid obstacles and collect coins, very basic here. And then we also have the third level, so here we have the triangle, and what you need to imagine here is that the triangle is here on ice, and that you need to, you know, go with it, with the flow, to the left, to the right, again, you know, avoiding obstacles, collecting coins. And also an obstacle idea that I created here is the fitting obstacle. So sometimes you need to, you have, for example, this obstacle on the whole, you know, aspect ratio, then you need to go through this, otherwise you will, you know, lose the game. And then coming to the last level, we have here the square object, and here I, you know, thought about the square a little bit different. So it's actually a flat square, still four corners, and still, you know, a little bit different approach. You have basically here is just an object that is flying through the wind like a leaf, and it will always go down, but you need to avoid still the obstacles. And when it's down, you need to hit the air giver. I just called it like this, a very basic name, but you know, you need to hit this, and then it will again go up, and you will again need to collect coins and avoid obstacles. What I just wanted to show you here and to describe here are just some basic ideas of the game and the whole, you know, USP that I wanted to show here. So it's, you know, always the same. You need to avoid obstacles, you need to collect the coins, but it's always something different, and that is the very important part. That is something that I think no endless runner has ever done, and I think it brings a lot of fresh air to the genre. Coming into the financial aspect of the game, for me it is very important to communicate everything when it comes to the pricing to you, to explain myself, because yeah, it's a very important part, and I think community is the most important thing here at SteveGamesStudios. So yeah, coming to the first aspect, what I gonna use in the game are low poly assets, and obviously they're costing some money. I could learn how to make them myself, but it's also, you know, a thing of how much time I have, and so yeah, that's why I use low poly assets here. Obviously I also have ongoing costs. In general, development of a game is very time consuming. So I think it's the, the most fair thing to just say, okay, I'm not going to include any pay to win here, but I'm going to need to have a little bit of, financial return on that whole thing. I think it's just a fair thing. And what I also can guarantee you guys here is that $4.99 is going to be the max cost. So I'm not going to put the price up, even if the game is going to be a massive success. I'm not going to do this. That's a promise to you here. So coming then to the release plan, we are slowly coming to the end of the presentation, but yeah, I think it's very important to also include this here, what needs to be in the game and what could be in the game. And so obviously we have the characters and basically the 5 different endless runners and the UI and navigation. I think it's all logical that this needs to be in the game. Then I have also put the name villains here. So like I said before, it's an option to, also make special abilities for every different character. But I'm going to be completely honest with you, like I said many times now, development is a very time consuming thing. So villains would be nice to include them, but it's also a question of how the game feels. If I see, okay, the game is special enough with 5 different characters and the random thing that, the character changes once in a while, if I decide and if I see that this is special enough, then maybe I could also cut the villains, but it's definitely, in the thinking to also include this in the game. And a very important aspect here is also the bug-free experience. That is also very, very important. It's a promise that I'm making to you that when the games come out, there are gonna be no bugs and you can enjoy it and just play. And then also we have some can-dos. So yeah, those are some, sounds, achievements, daily logins, everything that would make the game even nicer. But yeah, for now, I just focus on the must features that are the things that I'm gonna implement first. And then coming to the upload plan, for you also very important, there's gonna be a dev update once a month. That is a minimum. And then there are also gonna be tutorials on a regular basis because community is very important for me. And I also want to teach you a little bit about how to make a game and how you could make it on your own. So coming into one of the last aspects of the presentation, and that are the future statements. And so what I want to clarify here is that the possibility for updates is always there. It really depends on your feedback and how the game, actually hits on itch.io. What I also want to mention here is that I will make 2 games in 2025. It's really my goal to also make in the next year 2 games, because then I will have 3 games for my portfolio. That is very important for me. But yeah, we will see what the future will bring. Obviously, I have some ideas beyond the could use, like a multiplayer, a skin maker, and to release the game on mobile. But it really depends on the feedback of the community. And then coming to the takeaway, the final part of the presentation, and that is really important for me to bring you that here. So what I want to clarify here is that SteveGamesStudios changes the way games are made. I really want to do this because I think gaming lacks a little bit of fun recent years. Many big companies just see their gamers as clients, they release pay to win games, remakes, but this is not the case here. I really want to clarify this. I'm having a different approach here, and I really want to include you in every step of the development with no pay to win, but still, very interesting game concept. That is also a focus here, that I am, making the really big parts with the game concept. And yeah, that is, I think, everything that I could say here. Those are the most important parts. Let's bring fun back to gaming. And for now, let's wait for the 15th December of 2024, because on that day, Form's gonna release on itch.io. And that's everything for the presentation. Follow now to take part in the journey, and thanks for listening. Bye bye.